Where do you think the stereotype of gamers hating sports and/or sports games, not all of them, of course, stem from? And then why are fans of sports games looked down upon at times? I think this is fairly recent. I'm going to say, between the last 10 years. When I was growing up, it was almost synonymous or almost required. At least every kid I knew had at least one or two sports
Even
games.
if it was an arcadey one like NBA Jam. But like
every kid played Tecmo Bowl on the NES or ice hockey or Blades of Steel.
When I'd go over to my buddy's house after the Super Nintendo came out, we would alternate rounds between NHL like 94 and Mortal Kombat.
Sure. I think what happens is with the internet and social media, these differences get magnified. And I'm not going to get into tribalism, but this is tribalistic thoughts, is that, if you're into sports, you must hate games, or if you're a gamer, you can't like sports. And of course, that's not true, but people that have these common interests or thoughts band together and then find people with similar interests more easily with the internet. And so I think that cuts off their mind to new ideas or being susceptible to other experiences. So maybe if you would never pick up a sports game and want to play it, you find others, instead of taking a chance and playing a sports game, you'll find others with the same beliefs, and then it's an echo chamber, or vice versa. It's just a strange question to me because I can't imagine video games without having sports games. Without sports games, I don't think you have video games would be a hell of a lot less interesting. You have a hell of a lot less people playing games. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not much of a sportster, but I'll buy a FIFA every couple of years. I will definitely buy a baseball game every few years. Shit. Back when they released college hoops games, I love college basketball. I'd buy a college basketball game. I'm not a huge sports fan. The thing is, I think part of, at least as someone who works retail, I think one of the reasons that sports games are so frowned upon now is simply the glut of them and the rate that they come out.
But there's always been a glut of sports games, and they always came out once a year, going back to the early 90s.
It's true. I mean, if you look in like an SNES catalog, I mean, you're going to find so many what I call vanity sports titles, like Sterling Sharp's End to End and Troy Aikman Football.
There was multiple football franchises on the Super Nintendo. It wasn't just Madden.
I think it starts though with the PS2 and the Xbox, and the fact that everything got more popular then. Video games in general got more popular. I think more hardcore gamers took issue with these people buying systems, because there are people who buy systems almost entirely for sports games, which is fine,
or for Call of Duty or whatever,
which is fine. I mean, whatever floats your boat.
But why get upset at them?
No, I think it's just I think it's just the like I said, the amount of them. You walk in and to a store, say like ours, and we have all our PS2 games out front, and you see all the sports titles in stacks. And then you look at the Super Nintendo, and it doesn't seem so bad because I've got them in the back. And I still don't have as many sports titles because video games weren't as popular back then. But I think some people look at them as just trash that builds up over time.
You're thinking of older ones versus... I look at this question as just modern times about someone that just plays FIFA. Let's say there's people that just buy their Madden and then buys their baseball game every year, and that's what they play.
Sure. Like I said, that's totally fine. And I agree. I buy sports games on occasion too. And like I said, it was synonymous with gaming when I was younger. I'm just saying I think the glut of all these old sports games as things get more popular is part of why people get so weird about them.
I just think it's the whole jocks versus nerds thing that's now come around again.
No, that could be it. But you got to remember also that could be enhanced by the fact that in the past there wasn't a lot of jocks playing video games. So when we bought the sports games, it was what we were into. Now, like I said, you have a lot of people who will buy a system just for sports games, as opposed to people who would buy the sports games and Street Fighter and Mario and have like a more diverse collection. I'm not saying it's right, or I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying I think that's why.
No, you do whatever you want. You're an adult. I mean, it's funny that you see you see these athletes. Well, athletes are playing
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they play Mortal Kombat with Conan O'Brien, or they play sports games. They'll play, as themselves. It's just funny to see stuff like that. So, video games are for everyone.
There's room for everyone.